Hey guys, how's it going? I wasn't going to do a video on the RazorCrest from Revell, but a few people have asked if I'd, do one. I thought, well, I might as well start blogging this as well as doing my other updates. So this is the kit. I'm sure everyone has had this flood their Facebook news feed and social media because everyone seems to be getting it, but it's a good kit. There was some grumblings about it from a few guys, which is fair enough because people are expecting sort of perfection. Now we have these kits from Bandai and that sort of thing that are just beautiful, but this really isn't a bad offering. It's it's Revell. I mean, what? It's not a Bandai. It's not Tamiya. It's not the top end kits anymore. It's mass produced kits that are usually for the real beginners and hobbyists that aren't as diehard as we are in the Star Wars sort of modelling community. But first thing people have brought up is the texture on top of the top hull here, and I've just given it a coat of not even the Tamiya Fine, just the normal Tamiya surface primer and a quick sand with 1500. And you can get rid of that texture. You can see the shine on there. The texture's still there, but really you're going to notice that? It's a 1/72 scale model. It's not, you're not going to get perfection, and the details are a little soft here and there on the top, but really they're superb. And what is interesting to a studio scale modeler like me are these details. So there you can see that's C-Lab, that part there. You've got 8-rad there. You've got the gearbox, the Porsche there. You've got BF109, I think those parts are. I never knew that they used original kit parts on the digital model, which obviously they would and makes sense because the ILM special effects department have scanned in the original kit parts, the donor kit parts, the vintage ones that we all know and love, that we used on the Falcon and all over other ships. But it's just really nice to see that even Revell now have managed to capture these kit parts. That's Morse Carl there. And that's the Tyrrell wheel. But the other thing is, they're not to scale. So if I went and got out from my stash now a Tyrrell part, that's not a wheel, but it's from the Tyrrell kit, I believe, and the railgun Morse Carl part there, if I put them next to each other, that part would be the same size as that part. So if you tried to build this from scratch using original parts, you couldn't, because they've changed the size and the scale of the original parts to create their own look, which is, again, they're cool. It's their way of doing it, which is fine. But you wouldn't be able to replicate it using original parts. But it's still nice to see original parts on the RazorCrest. I could just about ID them on the Bandai, but they're just so small on the Bandai. The other thing was that there was a sink mark there, which there still is even after my filling, but it's not as bad as it was. You can still see it there. But again, it's nitpicking. This is a big, decent sized model. It's, I'm happy with it. I'm really keen to get this painted now. I mustn't rush though, because that's one of the biggest problems I have. The other thing I did was Craig Lee showed me. He's done a brilliant job on his, and he's drilled out the holes here on the engine, and that was a laborious task, and but it was well worth doing. I mean, he's done a much cleaner job than I have. But yeah, so when you light that, it looks much nicer because you've got all the holes which should be there. If I can get, yeah, there we go. If I can get that to click on. Bear with me. Sorry, just trying to do this with one hand. Nope, not going to do it. Red to white and blue to bits. Anyway, I think you've seen the video, the picture, sorry, of the engines lit. And it makes a difference drawing those holes out. I'll give it one more try. Come on. There we go. So that looks a lot better. And I've got a bright light overhead shining, so in normal lights, that looks much nicer. There's masking tape behind there to diffuse the light, so you don't have 5 great LED bulbs blinking at you. The other thing is the alignment issue isn't perfect. So along here, yeah, that's a big mess I've got to sort out, and down there. But again, it's modelling. This is what we were used to doing from the get-go. Big gap I've got to fill across there, and it's a bit ugly, but it'll be hidden in time. It'll be primed and sanded and that sort of thing. That's the comparison to the Jeff Lou one that I had printed. There's quite a difference in size. I just thought I couldn't resist getting the airbrush out and giving that a whirl. So that was a Alumaluster, I think that's the name of the paint. I'll be using the same on the Revell kit, and that's over a gloss black base. And I'm really keen to get it going. The inside was kind of fun to do. That's got the hangers there for the carbonite and a few other details that you can't really see. I didn't spend much time doing it really, to be honest, because it's not going to be seen. The interior, again, not a huge amount of work I did on that either, just literally enough to make it look okay under the clear lens. I'll put the decals on and then call it a day on that. But yeah, apart from that, I'm going to get a mount underneath. So in there I'll put a plate or something and a 1/4 inch thread so I can have it flying at an angle. And I think I will have it with the landing gear down so I can have it resting. But yeah, this is the first update and it's a lovely kit. I'd recommend it. I know round 2 are going to produce one, but honestly I think this is the Revell one I'm happy with. So yeah, cheers guys. Okay, so I've given this a coat of Alumaluster, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but it's the same paint that's used on the Mandalorian helmet. That's over a gloss black, and it's come out okay. It's this is the second time I've done this, because the first time it didn't come out too well, so I sort of went back with the compound and got a better finish on it. And it's hard to do at 1/72 scale, but it's certainly a lot different to a Mandalorian helmet, but it's a lot smoother than the original paint job I had. This texture up here is still there, but it's not awful. I mean, I'm really pulling this up close to the camera now, and you can see this. You can just see the paintwork's not perfect, but that's how it's going to be displayed further away. But yeah, I'm happy with that. That's more than adequate for what I need to do when I start adding the washes and the airbrush work and the different panels and that. That'll come out okay. So yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so I've just done some work with the airbrush SP Lark Dark and some Engine Black by Archive-X, and then some Tamiya clear blue on some panels, because I think the CG render in the film, well, show, you can see some differences in colour of the panels. But this is under real harsh lights. I've got two lamps and the light above me shining over this. It's showing up all the rough looking areas, but with the airbrush work and the oils as well, I've put oh gosh, what I put down? The same, I think it's raw umber, Winsor & Newton raw umber, the same as the Mandalorian helmet, which is quite funny because with the Slave 1, that's the same colours used as the helmet, pretty much, give or take. It's the same shades anyway, and I think they've done a similar sort of thing with the with the RazorCrest. But I've nothing at the cockpit, nothing up here has been touched. Only a few streaks. Oh gosh, it does look rough. You can see the texture. Sometimes that really catches a light, that texture, and it does shine through, unfortunately. But I've given that no passes hardly at all with the airbrush. Only a few bits of the dial arc and the engine black. But down here, all down here, that's all been weathered, and I've tried to keep it subtle. And it does change in the light, but from a distance it looks fantastic. Just when you zoom in, you can see my less than perfect metallic finish, but I'm actually quite happy with that. I'm still going to go over with some darker tones, some engine black streaks and that, but it's starting to come to life. The details are starting to pop. As I say, this was Alclad, no, not Alclad, sorry, Alumaluster. I think that's meant to be aluminum, so, or aluminium as we say it over here, which seems to be the right colour because the studio filming miniature was literally wrapped in bare metal foil, I think aluminium foil, so they've kept it looking like that when they did the CGI render, which this is copied from, to give it that aluminium sort of look. So it's not chrome, it's not steel, it's not silver, it's that aluminium that I'm trying to capture, but it's looking okay. This is the rear that I've been working on. It's yeah, it's not awful, but I think that look really nice when that all comes together.